Big victory for Internazionale this past weekend as they hit 5, of course, to remain tip at the top of the table. What's going to go on, though, this weekend? We're going to take a little look next. That's right, folks, Bob's Game on a prediction video today. We're taking a look at match number 21, of course, over in Italy, and we'll get to that in a second. If you're new, where you been? Smash your subscribe button, back and see all things Serie A related, Bob and Rose related, world football related. We're going to all here, boys. Under one Ruski, that's right. Inter flexing their muscles with, of course, scoring 5. AC Milan turning over Mourinho's boys, that's right, in a very big weekend for the teams over in Milan. We'll have a look at it, all of it in a second, of course. Big shout out to my VIPs. They are the patrons, you know who you are. And of course, if you do, check out the links and of course subscribe. Now, I've coming at you a little bit early. Of course, there are still a couple of games to be played over the course of Mondays and Tuesdays, but I am going to be on the road, so I'm going to I want to get this video out there for the following weekend's action. So please bear with me while we navigate this bumpy path. And, of course, keep your predictions coming out the Super Brew. We will get an update to you very, very soon. So these are the scores and the predictions for the games that have already had taken place. But let's recap what went on so far. So Genoa with a draw against Torino, 0-0 in the end. I went with the 1-0 win myself. Not too shabby. Actually, pretty shabby there. Napoli with a big 2-1 win over Salernitana. I went with a 2-0 win myself. Verona, 2-1 winners over Empoli. I went with a draw on that one. Inter, 5-1 win over Monza. 2-1 win in my eyes. Lazio, though, remaining, Lazio keeping the city of Rome blue with a big 3-0 win over, well, actually, it was a 1-0 win over Lecce. I went with the 3-0 win myself on that one. Cagliari, 2-1 winners of Bologna. That's, of course, matey boys, Ranieri's boys, up and at them. Big win for them. I went with a win the other way. Fiorentina with a 2-2 draw against Udinese, 2-1 win in my eyes. AC Milan with a big 3-1 win over Roma. I went with a 2-1 win on that one as well. And again, Atalanta, Frosinone, and Juventus Sassuolo yet to take place. We'll cross that bridge when it comes to it. But right here, those are the situations in the league. At the moment now, of course, it could all change, of course, in those next couple of games. But the situation at the table looks like this. Inter top the charts, 51 points right now. Juve, game in hand, could close the gap a little bit, of course. And then Milan, AC Milan, that is, of course, in third spot with Fiorentina in fourth. Then, of course, don't rule out Lazio or Bologna in the moment for a race for that Champions League spot. But going down, Verona, Empoli, and Salernitana. And that's, of course, the situation we find ourselves in. But because it could all change this coming weekend as we got a whole fixture list of games to look forward to. So let's get into this one then. And again, keep up the picks with the Super Brew. So we'll keep on going. We'll keep on tracking. We're going to start right here, right now, with Saturday, the 20th of January. It'll be Roma. It'll be Verona. And, of course, it's going to be at the Stadio Olimpico. Now, these two sides have played each other 25 times since 1996. We've got 15 wins for Roma, 4 wins for Verona, 6 draws, of course. The biggest win for Roma, 3-0 win. They got 53 goals in 25 matches, 2.12 goals a game on average. Verona on the flip side, 3-0 win, the biggest. 31 goals scored in those 25 matches, 1.24 goals a game heading into this one. Verona, though, 42% form for them right now, 2 wins the last 6. Of course, heading into this 18th of the table with just 17 points on the board. Roma on a bit of a slump right now, just 1 win and 5, 42% form for them heading into this one as well. 9th of the table with just 29 points this season as well. Last time around, though, in Roma, it was a 1-0 win back in February 2023. They've already played each other, these two sides. Back on match number 2, it was a 2-1 win for Verona, that's right. The odds, though, for this one, 2-1 on Roma. They are, of course, the favourite here. 16-5 is the draw. 11-2 is the long shots here. We're back in Mourinho's boys. Bounce back, finally, and get some 3 points and maybe keep their outside European adventure alive. Next up, we have Udinese. They're taking on AC Milan, coming at you on Saturday, January the 20th. That's right. Now, these two sides have played together 63 times in 1983. 18 wins for Udinese, 30 wins for AC Milan, 15 draws, of course. And the biggest win for Udinese was a 4-1 win. In fact, they've got 72 goals in those 63 games, 1.14 goals a game on average. The flip side, though, AC Milan, 5-1 win, the biggest, 108 goals scored in those 63 games, 1.71 goals a game heading into this one as well. Milan, though, 75% form, just 1 defeat of the last 6. They are third, 42% form for them at the moment. Udinese, though, just 1 defeat the last 5. Of course, 42% form. They are 16th with 18 points on the board as well. Last time around, though, over at the Stadio Friuli, it was a 3-1 win for Udinese back in March March 2023. Now, these two sides locking horns again for the second time this season. 3-1 is your Udinese here. 2017 on as of course your AC Milan. 13-5 is the draw. That's the bookies' odds here. My odds will go with AC Milan here. Go with my Cajones. 2-1 win for them on the road to keep their outside ambitions for the title alive, and of course their race for Champions League well on track. That's right. Let's get into the next one then. It's Frosinone. It's Cagliari at the Stadio Benito Strippi. Now these two sides have played each other 6 times in 2013. We've got 1 win for Frosinone, 2 for Cagliari, 3 draws of course. Now the biggest win for Frosinone was a 2-1 win. They got 8 goals scored in those 6 games, 1.33 goals a game on average. Cagliari under Ranieri, biggest win for them was a 7-goal thriller, 4-3 it was. 9 goals scored in the 6 games, 1.50 goals a game on average. Just 1 defeat the last 4 though for Ranieri's boys. They are 17th for the table with 18 points on the board. Meanwhile, Frosinone are 14th with 19 points and 4 defeats on the spin at the moment, and of course looking to get back to winning ways. Last time around, they're over at the Stadio Benito Strippi. It was a 2-2 draw back in November 2022. The odds for this one, we have 11-8 as your host here, 12-5 is the draw, 15-8 is your long shots, which of course is Cagliari on this one. Can they turn it around once again? Believe in the process, believe in the project. 1-1 draw in the end, point split right in the middle. Cagliari will keep on keeping on. Next up, we have Empoli against Monza. That's coming at you also on Sunday, January the 21st. Now, these two sides picture the 9 times since 1999. We've got 4 wins for Empoli, 3 for Monza, 2 draws, of course. Now, the biggest win for Empoli was a 4-2 win. They got 10 goals scored in those 9 games, 1.11 goals a game on average. Monza, though, 2-0 win, their biggest, scoring 9 goals in those 9 games. Of course, that's a goal a piece on average. 42% form, though, for Monza right now. What we're looking at, just 1 win in 5, 11th in the table with 25 points on the board. Empoli, though, haven't won in the last 8 games. They're on 17% form for them right now. 19th in the table with just 13 points on the board as well. Last time around, though, over Empoli, it was a 1-0 win for Empoli back in October 2022. But the odds right here, right now, we're looking at 9-5, your host, 29-20, your visitors, 23-10 is, of course, the draw here. Which way we're going to go on this one? Going to go to the opposition here. 2-1 win for Monza as Empoli's a winless run continues. Meanwhile, Salernitana taking on Genoa, if you know what I mean. Coming at you on Sunday, January the 21st. Now, these two sides, again, played each other 22 times since 1997. We've got 7 wins for Salernitana, 10 wins for Genoa, and we've got 5 draws, of course, between two sides. Salernitana, 4-0 win, the biggest, scoring 21 goals in 22 matches. 0.95 goals a game on average. Genoa, though, 5-0 win, the biggest, 32 goals scored in 22 matches, 1.45 goals a game heading into this one. Genoa, though, without a loss in the last 5, however, just 1 win in the last 6 for them, 50% form for them heading into this one. 12 at the table, 22 points on the board. Of course, Salernitana, though, 3 defeats on the spin. We'll talk about that shortly. 3 defeats on the spin for them. 25% form for them. 20 for the table, just 12 points on the board at the moment. Last time around, over in Salernitana, it was a 1-0 win for the host back in October 2021. But the odds right here, right now, we're looking at 12-5 is your host here. 11-5 is the draw. 6-5 is your long shots, which, of course, is Genoa, if you know what I mean. Actually, the long shots is probably the hosts on this one. I'm going with a nil draw. Lecce taking on Juve. That's right, coming at you also on Sunday, January the 21st. Now, these two sides have played each other 29 times in 1983. We've got 3 wins of Lecce, 19 wins of Juventus, and we've got 7 draws, of course. Now, these two sides have locked horns a bunch of times. 2-0 win, the biggest for Lecce. 24 goals scored in 29 matches, 0.83 goals a game heading into this one. Juve, though, 4-0 win, the biggest, 61 goals scored in 29 matches, 2.10 goals on average. 92% form for Juventus. That's winning 5 of them out. So they do have a game, which, of course, we've not yet played, which, of course, could affect these stats and numbers. They are 46 points right now and second at the table. Lecce, though, 33% form for them. Just 1 win in the last 6. They are 13th for the table with just 21 points all season long. Last time around, though, in Lecce was back in October 2022. It was 1-0 win for Juventus, who've won 4 in the bounce against their opposition. 17-4 is your host here. 12-5 is the draw. 10-7 on is, of course, your Juve here. They're going to win this one, aren't they? 2-0 win for them to keep the dream alive. Next up, we do have Bologna. They're going to be locking horns up against Fiorentina, of course. Now, this game will, when will it take place? It will take place, according to my data, on the 14th of February. Is that correct? I don't know why that is. Maybe there's something else going on. But anyway, it's scheduled to take place. Bologna against Fiorentina is scheduled to take place. Or is it? In fact, there's only 6 games meant to take place this weekend. So that's a little bit interesting. But this one's also on the docket. We'll talk about it briefly before we wrap this sucker up. Of course, they were supposed to take place. It may or may not be on the Super Brew. But anyway, 44 times they played each other since 1996. 7 wins Bologna, 20 wins Fiorentina, 17 draws. Of course, Bologna 3-0 in the biggest. 44 goals scored in 44 matches. 1 goal a game on average. Fiorentina, though, 4-0 win their biggest. 65 goals scored in 44 matches. 1.48 goals a game. Of course, Bologna on 42% form for them without them in the last 4. Fiorentina just 1 defeat in the last 6. They are 4th, 34 points on the board. Of course, there's no bookies odds on here. No gut, no, rhyme or reason. So go for your gut here on this one. Again, probably not going to take place. Probably going to take place on that Valentine's weekend or whatever. I would have went with the 2-2 draw if it were to take place. Anyway, same can be said, though, for Torino. This game also supposed to be on the docket, but not happening as well. So Torino were scheduled to take on Lazio. And tell me, I don't know, maybe it's Coppa Italia weekend. I don't know. But they played each other 44 times, of course. This has actually now been rescheduled, 22nd of Feb. So 44 times they played each other since 1993. 9 wins for Torino, 90 wins for Lazio. 16 draws, of course. Torino just 1 defeat in the last 6, 58% form. Lazio cooking gas and taking names. 5 wins on the bounce, of course, sitting pretty in 5th of the table. 33 points compared to Torino's 28 points. Again, the last time I played each other over in Torino, it was a 0-0 draw back in August 2022. It's not going to go ahead, but if it was to go ahead, I would have went with a 2-1 win for Lazio to make it another win on the spin there, to make it 6 in a row. Sassuolo also supposed to be playing. They were supposed to be taking on Napoli, of course. El Champions, of course. We won't be saying that for much longer. I can guarantee that. This match will take place on the 28th of February. Now, they played each other 22 times in 2013. 2 for Sassuolo, 13 for Napoli. 7 draws, of course. Sassuolo 2-0 win, their biggest, scoring 19 goals in 22 games. 0.86 goals a game on average. Napoli, their biggest win, 6-1 win. 45 goals scored in 22 games. 2.05 goals a game on average. Napoli, horrendous form, just 1 win in 5. They are 7th right now. Sassuolo also 1 win in the last 6. 25% form for them, of course. No odds, no gut, no stuff like that. Last time around at Sassuolo, it was a 2-0 win for Napoli. Again, not taking place, but we'll talk about it anyway. 2-0 win it would have been for Napoli on the road. And then wrapping up, it is Inter. They were supposed to be playing Atalanta, and a bit of a zing-zong affair. Of course, and now we'll have to see whether this zinger will happen at all. Scheduled to take place now, I believe, on the 28th of Feb. The Giuseppe Meazza played each other 52 times in 1984, 28 wins for Inter, 9 for Atalanta, 15 draws. Of course, Inter just 1 defeat the last 6, 75% form up against Atalanta side, also on 75% form, just 1 defeat the last 6. They are in 8th compared to Inter's 1st. Of course, not going to go ahead according to my data anyway. I would have went with a 3-1 win for Inter on this one. That's my picks, boys. That's, of course, my take. Let me know your thoughts and opinions, of course, as we look forward to a bit of a mini weekend, it looks like, over in Italy. And if I'm right, this is what the table will look like. That's what it will look like right there. Hopefully we'll be back to a bit more normality next week, of course. Inter top, Juventus closing in on it, AC Milan, and then Lazio, Verona, Salernitana and Pauli going down. That's my picks, but of course it doesn't look like it's going to be anything like that, with of course a weird weekend of football ahead. But until then, subscribe, thumbs up, catch you later for the next one. Until then, we're done.